To Giju, it only felt like yesterday when he was still struggling to kill an orc or two. Now it feels like more work collecting mana crystals instead. As he looks at his shining red snake ring, he asks, "Right, Lu?" We are taken back to 1 month ago, when Giju was first discharged from the hospital. He enters the tower to check on his status and finds it changed. A new class job showed him being Ego's partner. It was a good thing to come to the tower as soon as he was discharged, since he wasn't dreaming and his status really did change. Even though he knew coming to the tower right now was a mistake. If told his sister about his decision, she would call him insane for heading back into the tower right after recovering from a near-death experience. Our hero couldn't just sit still, especially since his status has changed for the first time in 5 years. However, realization dawned on him: he had no clue how to use his abilities, much less how to link with this ego thing. Our hero started to brainstorm on what to do. As if inspiration struck him, he stretched out one arm and with the other holding his face yelled, "Link up." However, only empty silence greeted him, and even the bird watching from a branch was speechless at his idiocy. Our little guy was so embarrassed at what he just did that he sat down and curled up into a ball. Thankfully, there was no one around to see him make a fool of himself. Our fool closed his eyes and started to mutter to himself, saying how he gave that bratty voice a name, Lu. At that very moment, in a flash of red light, a bluish orb swirling with red aura was floating in front, and the system message informed him that a formless ego, Lu, has been summoned. By the way, our guy was clueless on how he just did it. As the system informed him that Lu's appearance has not been formed, it would be chosen at random due to players' lack of ability. After which the system said the ingredients for Lu's materialization will be automatically absorbed. While Giju was confused and trying to figure out what was going on, the orb started to vacuum suck everything from the surrounding area. The backpack with all the expense stuff inside was not spared. It literally took the cloths off our hero back. Thankfully, it left him wearing his underwear, or else we would have had to censor this portion of the story. Once the orb was done, it turned black-red and a pillar of red light descended from the heavens. As the light faded, a black demonic sword was hovering in the air. After making a poncho out of some salvaged blanket, our hero turned to the talking sword, asking for the third time if its name was really Lu. The sword called him an idiot for making it repeat itself. Giju tried to calm down and asked what an ego was, to which the sword replied, "How the F would I know, idiot?" Our hero was getting very agitated with the black sword's attitude, but continued to ask questions, and we learn more about egos. Once a link between the ego and the master is established, only the master had control over the relationship. Kinda like master and slave. However, an ego could hurt or even kill their master. But if the master died, the linked ego would also disappear. Then, with a sinister grin, Giju asked the sword if it could feel pain. To which the sword proudly replied that he was a distinguished ego who could feel all emotions, and if the settings were turned on, all sensations too. With a rock in his hand, the system prompt asked if he wanted to turn on Lu's pain perception. Our boy showing the words, "manners." Mocketh. The man. We hear a loud scream of pain as someone getting the beating of a lifetime. We now return to the present, where an orc is killed with a wicked red slash. A system pop-up informs that Lu is absorbing the blood of the orc. More pop-ups appear saying Lu has acquired experience points and has leveled up. Lu's stat have also increased. When Giju casually comments there was a time when Lu rebelled a lot, the sword tries to make it pass it off as an embarrassing memory, and when he thinks back on it, it still gives him chills. After seeing an eerie look cross over Giju's face, the sword corrects himself, saying he has a chill master, and that he is very blessed to have such a wonderful master. Looks like our boy, while tempering the sword with a rock, has tamed it somewhat. With their bags full, they decided to head back down out of the tower. The next time Giju wants to try entering a gate instead of the tower. Back at the Players Association building, Tashik warns him against entering gates for the time being. They have had several cases of gates which were supposed to be relatively easy rank F turn into higher rank C for some unknown reason. Also, 4 high rankers have died in a recent gate in the United States. Tashik told our hero this has never happened in the last 23 years, but this sudden change started a month ago. Our hero thought it might just be coincidence that it's around the time he met with Lu, but just passed it off. His guide manager was just looking out for our boy and just wanted him not to rush into danger. Gates, unlike the tower, was a better source of income. It offered more crystals, special items, and had clear bounties. Our hero could not pass up the opportunity to make more money since he was drowning in a mountain of debt. He figured that a gate being an anomaly was low and started to look for random parties to join to get some fast cash. He soon found a party and met with the group leader in a coffee shop. The expedition leader's name was Song Su-ha. A standard contact, outlining the profit distribution and such, was provided for our hero to sign. Also, equipment and gear drops would be decided with a dice roll. The leader explained that they would meet in 2 days to enter the gate and told our hero not to be late. Gate are generally categorized into 2 types. Either a one-time gate which disappears after being cleared, or a sustained gates, which do not disappear and can allow players to repeat hunting within them. Of course, the one-time games offered more unique rewards, but the sustained gate were preferred since they offer lower risks and strategies to clear them are posted publicly. On the designated time and date, our hero starts the gate with his makeshift random party. The group consisted of 5 players, a tank, 2 damage dealers, one of which was our hero. A red-haired mage type, and the leader of the expedition was the archer. It looked like everyone was a stranger except the archer and the redhead. As they were walking down the corridor, they were soon approached by a horde of zombies. With menacing red eyes, they charged into our party. The blonde tanker took to the front to block their approach, while the damage dealers started the assault with the archer's support from the backline. While the gray-haired damage dealer was complaining about how resilient the monsters were, our hero shocked everyone by tearing through the enemy lines like they were made of paper. In a matter of moments, the battle was over and they were sitting down recovering. The blonde tanker and the other damage dealer kept on praising and offering flattery to our Giju for making this gate a breeze and wanting to tag along to all his future endeavors. When the break was over and they were going to head out again, a sly look passed between the blonde tanker and the damage dealer. The blonde guy whispered into the gray head's ears, and a mischievous grin appears on both their faces. The party quickly made their way to a massive steel bars, which was the entrance to the boss's room. When the leader started to give an explanation on the method to clear the gatekeeper Talon, he was rudely interrupted by the blonde tanker. The redhead had a murderous expression on her face, which soon disappeared when the leader looked in her direction. After their eyes met, the leader continued with his explanation. After everyone knew their role, they broke in through the steel bars and entered the room. The large bandaged boss monster was sitting with his back towards them. The archer started the battle with an arrow shot at the boss. The monster turned around angrily and charged the whole party. The tanker took the initial hits and was flung to the back. Then the damage dealers began their assault on the boss. After taking some damage, the boss hunched down into an almost impenetrable defensive stance. Taking this chance, Giju leaped into the air for an attack. Just as he was coming down to land his attack, the system message notifications popped up telling him that his synchronization rate with Lu had increased and now he was able to use Lu's abilities more effectively. Without knowing exactly what happened, an overwhelming surge of power came down with his blade, making it possible for him to kill the boss in one strike. He stood there dumbfounded like the rest of his party members. The system notification pop-up told him the gatekeeper Talon has been defeated, and he obtained a new skill called cannibalism. It was a skill used to recover health by devouring corpses. Doesn't this feel like another cheat skill? What the hell? The party members were all surprised at what just happened. Not only did they easily clear the boss, but it even dropped equipment called Dagger of Paralysis. As per the contract, they would roll the dice to determine the distribution. While this was going on, Blondie came over and put his arms around Giju's shoulder. In a sleazy manner he said that since Giju did most of the work, Dagger should be his by right and to leave everything to them. Having been a guide for more than 5 years, our hero had developed an eye for people. He had low expectations for the tank and the dealer, but this was downright shameful. As they sat down to start the distribution, the 2 scoundrels made eye contact and started to put their plans into motion. The tanker grabbed a dagger and made a sudden lunge at the leader. Just then our hero grabbed Blondie's arm and flipped him over his head and onto his back. The Blondie tried to get the gray head to help, but his partner in crime was scared stupid. Our hero was thinking he was lucky to be alive, not because of the Blondie but due to the red head. Since sometime during this confrontation the red head had pulled out a dagger and was shrouded in a black aura. Wasn't she a mage? This was dangerous, even the leader acted strangely. When the dagger was flying at his throat, the leader didn't even flinch but instead kept his focus on the dagger. Our hero, still pinning Blondie down on the ground, asked the party leader what he wanted to do with these two dirtbags. To which the leader called out the redhead's name, Harem. Then without saying another word the redhead shrouded herself with a black aura and rushed to the grey head, knocking him senseless with a single hand strike to the back of his neck. As expected, this girl was dangerous. Our hero, taking this example, also knocked the Blondie out of commission. To his surprise, a chop to the back of the head really did do the trick. Then Giju declared that he would be taking the dagger since he was the one to save the life of the other party. Also, he passed the responsibility of taking care of the dirtbags in the capable hands of the other party and told them he was going to explore a bit more before heading back. There was a reason for exploring more, since killing more zombies provided him with more stats. His ego, Lu, had the special ability to get stats through absorbing blood. Like goblins gave him dexterity, ores gave him strength, and zombies gave him stamina. It's another way to get higher stats than he should be at his level. Of course, there is a limit to the amount of blood Lu can absorb. Since he killed all the zombies and absorbed enough blood, our hero decided to head back to the boss's room to enter the rewards room. The rewards room was a limbo space that you can only reach via the gatekeeper's corpse. However, upon entering the boss's room, our hero noticed a glow coming from one of the wall that was not there before. Upon closer inspection, the wall seems to be hollow. Then, against Lu's protest, our hero swung the sword like a hammer and crashed into the wall. The cloud of dust generated by the strike was no joke, but suddenly Lu detected the presence of an ego. And as the dust slowly settles, we can see something shining from within. Was ego something you can easily obtain? Giju began to lament that he wasted 5 years of his life, to which Lu, not missing a beat, said, because his master was an idiot. But before our hero could come back to his senses, Lu hurriedly turned the conversation around and pointed out they need to look for the ego, which was nearby. Our hero had doubts that anything could be left behind, since this was a permanent gate that's been around for a while, but Lu said otherwise. Then they came upon a white sword in a stone. Could this be the legendary Excalibur? Not knowing any better, our boy grabbed the shiny sword, and as soon as he touched the sword, he was covered in a blinding white light. In a female voice, "Are you my master?" As Giju slowly opened his eyes, he found himself in a space filled with pure white light, similar to Lu's dark space. When asked if she was the ego within the sword, she replied yes and said she has been here waiting for a master. Like before, this ego asked for a name to be called, to which our hero without hesitation said L. Then as soon as the sword was pulled out, the walls started to crack, and the whole gate became unstable. Both the egos told our hero to flee, but at the same time became aware of each other. Looks like they can now carry a three-way conversation. The two egos started to chat, to which Giju told them to shut it, since he still needed to concentrate. He saw the corpse of the gatekeeper, and immediately rushed towards it. When the floors beneath his feet started to crumble, he made a desperate leap for the corpse with his outstretched hand. Upon touching the corpse, the system immediately gave the prompt to enter the rewards room. As he was being teleported away, he noticed a huge evil eye staring at him from behind the portal. Sometime later, it was being reported on the news that the permanent gate had destroyed, but the cause was unknown. On the bright side, the gate collapsed way after he left, so he was not regarded as a suspect. And his rewards for clearing this gate were 30 violet crystals and an additional reward, Charm of Protection. Unlike towers, gates offer crystals as rewards for clearing it, and depending on their color, the value increases. Also, some valuable items that affect health and longevity can be used by ordinary people. The charm wasn't enough to cure his mother of her illness, but it was still helpful, and the money from selling the crystals allowed them to move her to a hospital. After taking care of his mother, our hero decided to climb the tower once more. Wielding his dual swords, Giju was easily able to climb from the 6th floor. all the way to the 9th floor. A floor, not long ago, he couldn't even dream of entering, was made into a reality by his two egos, Lu and L. With the amount of experience gained, L was able to level up, but due to shared experience, the pace of leveling up was a little slower. However, thanks to the synchronization skill, our hero could still feel his power level rising. Now we get a little backstory for L. She was a sword that was used to seal a demon inside the gate. However, due to having sealed the demon for a long time, most of her power had dissipated. Along with her power, her memory had also faded with the passage of time, and she couldn't remember anything about the demon or the situation that put her there in the first place. With the addition of L to the group, our hero's power was growing, and with more egos, the more powerful he would become. So the next logical step was to find more egos, and the place selected for this search was none other than the item auction house. Upon entering the auction house, his egos tried to sense other egos among the auctioned items, but as each item came up, they had yet to detect an ego. With the auction nearing its end, the last item of the day, its main attraction was brought out, and wouldn't you know it, it's an ego. But alas, how could our poor fool afford such an expensive item? At least he didn't leave empty-handed, since he was able to auction away the dagger of paralysis for a whopping $100,000. He had a weird grin on his face as he left the auction. On his way home, our hero stopped by a neighborhood supermarket to buy grocery. Our boy is very frugal. And as he walks home, something catches his attention. At first he notices a small tear in space right in front of him, and as he watched, it started to expand into an unexpected gate.